Hi friends, and welcome to TMAT Academy. This is our first series, and if you have not subscribed, please consider it. Before I start this lesson, I would like to erase the wrong mindset or thoughts that maths is difficult. Please say this after me. Maths is easy for me. Say it again. A lot of students are discouraged when they see letters like X, Y, Z, A, B, C in mathematics. Don't be panicked, because I know that that is where the problem lies. Okay, so that's why I'm starting this series with this topic called variable. What is variable? Welcome back. Variables. What are variables? These are alphabetical letters used in mathematical expression. Example, we have A, B, C, D. M, N, X, especially Y and Z. All the alphabetical letters we use in mathematics are referred to as variables. Now, note that all these letters, of the alphabet are used except one. There is a particular letter we don't use. That is letter O. This is because it is easy to say or to write 5x. Take a look at that X there, and also it is very easy to write 5y or 5a, but writing 50 looks like 50. It is actually confusing. So that's why letter O is not allowed in mathematics. The next we are looking at is coefficients. A lot of students don't really know what this is. What are coefficients? These are the numbers that stay or stand with a variable. Examples, we have 2x, 4y, 8p, 3x squared, and so on. Now we can actually say that the coefficient of x in 2x above, that is here, the coefficient of x here is 2. Why? Because this 2 is a number that stay or stand with this letter, which is called variable. So that's why we define this as the number that stay or stand with a variable, which is x. All the numbers that stay with any variable, we refer to them as coefficient. So if you look at this, we say that the coefficient of x in 2x above is 2. The coefficient of y in 4y above is 4. The coefficient of p in 8p above is 8. And the coefficient of x squared, this is not the same power with this. Not x, it is x squared. So that's why we say that the coefficient of x squared in 3x squared above is 3. The next we are going to look at is operations involving variables. In mathematics, when we say operations, it means multiplication, addition and subtraction, and division of anything. Now we want to look at multiplication of variables. First, multiplication of variables. Now the first thing is looking at the multiplication of the same variable. We have different ones, we have the same one. Now when they are the same, what do? How do you multiply them? This has caused a lot of confusion. Now take a look at the number one here. The first thing I will say here is that this is my x, this is multiplication. There are some students that write this as their x. Is very wrong. If you don't know how to write x like this, just write it this way. It's better off. This is x and not this. In fact, this is multiplication sign. This is the normal x. So don't think that it is x. It is x times x. Now when you say x times x, it's going to be, these are the same variables. Now the answer is going to, you pick one of these variables because it is multiplication. Okay, so this is multiplication of the same variable. They are the same letter. Okay, x times x. So what we need to do here is to pick one of these letters because they are the same. Now when you pick one of these letters, you now represent or show the numbers of times it appears here. Now this one is appearing 2 times. Okay, so that's why we are going to write x raised to power 2, meaning that this x is showing 2 times. I don't want to go to indices. I want to explain from the elementary. Now when I say s squared, this one here, this small 2 there is called power. It can also be called index. Okay, so it's when they are the same variables. Okay, you pick one of the variables to represent the 2 of them. One variable is representing these 2. Okay, and representing in how many ways? In 2 ways. It means that this x is in 2 places. Take a look at the number 2. I have x times x times x, because this they are of the same variable. Okay, so I pick one of the variables, that is a law. Okay, and represent the number of times it appears. Like how many times now? 1, 2, 3. So it appears 3 times. Okay, so I write x raised to power 3. If it appears 6 times, 8 times, so far they are of the same variables. You pick one of the letters and represent the numbers of times it appears as a power. Now take a look at this. This is s squared times s cubed. Okay, how many x here? 2x is still of the same variable. How many x here? 3, still the same variable. So here I can say here this s squared, that I can say x times x is still s squared times this one is what? S cubed. That will be x times x times x. Now how many? Because they are the same variable, what do? I pick one of the variables and count the numbers of times it appears. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it appears 5 times. That is x raised to power 5. So if you don't want to do this, just count 2 here. This is 2x, 2 of the x, 3 of the x here. Because they have the same variable, you pick one of the x here and represent the number of times it appears as a power. So 2x, 3x here, that is 5. That is x raised to power 5. The same thing is applicable to other variables that are not x, but they can be any letters, but because they are the same variables, like this one now, y times y and y, they are the same thing. So the same law is applicable to this one too. So that's why we pick one and represent the number of times it appears as a power. So that will be y raised to power 2. That is y squared. Look at this one. This is a times a, the same law, the same variables. So I'm going to write a raised to power 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a raised to power 4. So that is how to multiply variables with the same variables. That is how to multiply the same variables. I hope it is clear. Welcome back. We are still on multiplication of different variables, but now it's going to be of different variables, still on the same multiplication. Now these are different variables, they are not the same, unlike the other one that are the same. Now when it comes to different variable, what do? If you look at this, x times y, x is a variable, y is a variable, they are not the same, different. Now the law says that when you are multiplying different variables, they come together as one. For example, x times y, because they are not the same, not related, so we write x, y. At the end of the day, they come together. That is the law. The same thing is applicable to other variables like a times b, different ones. So they come together. That is a times b, that is ab. Also we have a times b times c. That would be what? A, B, C. If you have it to be a times b times c times d times e times, at the end of the day, they come together. The next one is, if you look at this one carefully, we have a times b times a times b. Now what you need to do here is that although they are different, but there are still the same variables there. So that's to say that the the one that are the same thing, they come together. So you now multiply it using that law now of the same variable inside different variables. So what do I mean by that? I will pick a times a from the first teaching that I said that is of the same variable. A times a is a raised to power 2, that is a squared. So a squared, b times b is also b squared, because they are the same. They have to merge together. Then when they merge together like this, I have a times a, this a times a times b times b. This one, a times a is a squared. Okay, so b times b is b squared. But because they are at the end of the day, they are not still the same, they are different. I have a squared, then b squared. The same law is still applicable there. They will still have to come together. So that's why here I have a squared, b squared. Although you will still achieve this answer here, but the final answer is going to be a squared, b squared, because they are different. Then we have m squared times n squared. These are different variables, although it has square here. Okay, so with this we can't do anything. We still have to follow that law. They are still different irrespective of the numbers of power it has or index. Okay, so this gives me m squared, and they will still have to come together because they are different. The next one is x squared y times xy. Now it's almost like this. If you look at this place, we can find another x here. Okay, so x squared y times xy. Okay, because this one are the same here, x squared times x. Okay, they merge together. So 2x here, 1x here. You know, you take one to represent. These are the same variable inside different variables. Okay, so that will be x raised to power 3, because it is 3. This is 1, this is 2. So you pick 1 to represent them as x cubed, that is x raised to power 3. Then y times y, they will have to merge each other as well. So y times y, that's y squared. But at the end of the day, they will still have to come together because they are still different variables. So that will be y raised to power 2. So this is x cubed y squared. The next one is a b squared times a squared b. Okay, if you look at this plane, you see that we have one of the a's, we have 2 here. Okay, so that's why we have it to be a raised to power 3, because it's 3 times. It's showing once and twice there. So that is a in 3 places, and also b 2 places here, 1 here. So that is altogether, that is 3. So that is b in 3 places. But because of the law of different variables, they have to still come together at the end of the day. So that's why we have them to be together here, not minding the powers. They still have to come together. So that's why we have it to be a cube, b cube. Welcome back. The next one is multiplication of variables with numbers. How do you multiply numbers with variables? Okay, example 1, we have 2 times x. This is a number and a variable. Then how does this work? This is a law. It says that when you are multiplying numbers with a variable, they will still have to come together at the end of the day, just like different variables. Okay, so having 2 times x, that is 2x, because they have to come together. So that is 2x. 5 times p, the same thing as it. That will be what? 5p. Number 3 says 3x times 2x. Okay, if you look at this closely, you will see that we have 3 times 2. The first thing is that when you see numbers, you multiply the numbers first. So 3 times 2 is 6. Then x times x, I've taught you the multiplication of the same variable. So the same variable gives me x times x, that is x raised to power 2, that is x squared, that is 6x squared. Then the same thing is applicable to this. 7 times 5, the numbers first, that is 35. Then a times b, different variables, they have to come together, that is a b. Okay, then the next one is 6x squared times 8x, that is 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So we have 48. then x squared times x, the same variable. Okay, so this is x squared 2 times and 1 times. You pick one of the x, then it has to use this to represent it as number of times it shows. Then this one is 5y cubed times 4y squared. This one is, you multiply this number first. We have 5 times 4, that is 20. You write 20. Then y cubed times y squared. You pick, just because they are the same variables, it's multiplication. Okay, so you have y cubed, this 3 times y squared. So you pick one of the y because of the same variable, they are the same, and we have done this. Okay, so 3 and 2, that is what? 5. It appears 5 times, that is 20y raised to power 5. The other one is, numbers first, you multiply it. Okay, so we have 3x squared y times 5xy. The first thing is to multiply numbers, that is 3 times 5, that is 15. You write the 15 first, then the same variables, you select them. X squared times x, that is x raised to power 3, and then y times y, that is y squared. They will still have to come together because they are different variables. So that's why we have s 15x cubed y raised to power 2. Then the last one is 5 times 2, that is 10. Then even though they are very close, mn times mn, n will go for n because they are the same. We are the one that we are doing that. You must dictate that, okay, or recognize that these are the same thing and it's of the same variable. Then what do? You pick one of them and represent the number of times it appears as the power. So that is 10 m is the power 2. Then n also is 2 times. You pick one and represent the number of times it appears. The law of different variables still applies here, and the number, so they will still have to come together.
I hope you enjoyed this teaching. If you have any question, you can kindly put in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share to TMath Academy. Thank you.